The first time the sky blinked, no one else noticed. It was 2:17 a.m., according to the red glow of the digital clock on my nightstand. I remember, because I couldn't sleep. The air felt wrong, heavy, like the pressure before a thunderstorm, except the forecast had promised clear skies over our little town in northern Arizona. I was lying on my back, staring at the ceiling, listening to the house breathe. The slow hum of the refrigerator downstairs, the faint tick of cooling pipes, my dog, Mabel, snoring softly at the foot of my bed. Then everything stopped. Not faded, stopped. The hum cut off mid-vibration. The pipes froze mid-tick. Even Mabel's snore clipped into silence, like someone had hit mute on the world. I sat up slowly. The digital clock blinked 2:17, 2:17, 2:17. It wasn't advancing. Hello? My voice sounded muffled, swallowed by thick air. That's when the light slid across my window. It wasn't lightning. Lightning cracks and disappears. This light moved deliberately, smooth and pale, like a searching eye passing over my house. It bled around the curtains in thin white fingers, stretching across the walls. Mabel didn't stir. I swung my legs over the bed and crossed the room, each step strangely heavy, as if gravity had thickened. I reached for the curtain but hesitated, my hand hovering inches away. The light paused, directly outside my window, as if it knew I was there. My pulse thudded in my ears. I told myself it was a helicopter, a drone, anything normal. But helicopters make noise. This was silent. I pinched the curtain between trembling fingers and pulled it aside a fraction of an inch. The sky was wrong. It looked peeled open, like someone had unzipped the darkness and exposed something brighter beneath. Suspended above the trees was a shape that didn't make sense. It wasn't a saucer. It wasn't a triangle. It was fluid. A shifting mass of silver light, folding in on itself like liquid metal breathing. No windows, no seams, just surface. And beneath it, the trees bent toward it, their branches reaching like worshippers. My heart slammed once, hard, when the surface rippled. A circle opened, not mechanically, not with panels or doors. The silver membrane simply thinned, dissolving into transparency. Inside was blackness, and within that blackness, something moved. I stumbled back from the window. The room brightened to a sterile white glow. Shadows vanished. My skin prickled as if charged with static. "Mabel," I whispered. She lay perfectly still. I dropped to my knees and shook her. "Mabel!" Her body was warm, but rigid, frozen mid-breath. Her chest was lifted slightly, caught between inhale and exhale. I felt the scream building in my throat when the floor disappeared. There's no better way to describe it. 1 second my knees pressed against carpet. The next there was nothing under me. The runes stretched away like a photograph being pulled apart. The walls blurred. The ceiling warped upward into a tunnel of white. I was rising. No, being pulled. The window exploded inward without sound, shards suspended in midair around me like glittering stars. I reached for the bedpost, but my fingers passed through it as though it were smoke. The last thing I saw of my room was Mabel, frozen forever in that half-breath. Then the house shrank beneath me. The roof peeled away like tissue paper. The town stretched below, rows of houses locked in stillness. Streetlights frozen mid-flicker. A car paused halfway through an intersection. A man mid-step on the sidewalk, coffee suspended in an arc, spilling from his cup. Everything paused, except me. I rose into the open circle of the craft. The blackness swallowed me whole. There is no sense of movement inside. No up, no down. I hung suspended in darkness thick as tar. The light from outside vanished. I couldn't see my own hands, but I could feel. The air was cool and wet against my skin, like standing in a cave near water. My ears popped softly, as if pressure adjusted around me. Then something brushed my ankle. I jerked violently. "Hello?" My voice trembled, swallowed by the void. A faint glow sparked to life ahead. Then another, and another. Soft white lights arranged in a circle around me. As they brightened, I realized they weren't lights. They were eyes. At least a dozen of them, positioned at different heights, some near the floor, some towering above my head. They blinked, not sideways, not up and down, but inward, like camera shutters. The darkness thinned, revealing them piece by piece. They were tall, some over 7 feet, others shorter, hunched. Their skin shimmered translucent, like thin wax, with veins of dim blue light pulsing beneath. Limbs too long, fingers too many. Joints bending at wrong angles. Their faces, no noses, no mouths. Only smooth skin interrupted by those glowing circular eyes. One stepped forward. Its movement was not walking, but unfolding, as if gravity did not apply to it the way it did to me. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. My throat had locked. The being tilted its head. Inside my skull something pressed. Not a voice, a presence. Images flooded my mind. Stars collapsing, planets forming, oceans boiling, cities rising and crumbling. Human faces flickering like pages in a book. My memories, childhood birthdays, my mother's laugh, the first time I broke a bone. Every secret I'd ever held. It was flipping through me. I clutched my head. Stop. Stop. The presence intensified. I felt fingers, not physically, but inside, peeling back thoughts, exposing fears I didn't know I had. Dark water closing over my head, being buried alive, losing everyone I love. It lingered on those, studying them. Then the being raised one elongated hand. The floor beneath me liquefied into silver mist, wrapping around my ankles, climbing my legs. It was cold, so cold it burned. I thrashed, but the mist tightened, lifting me upright. The others circled closer. One extended a thin appendage from its torso, like a thread of light, and pressed it against my chest. Pain detonated, white-hot and surgical. I felt, not physically, but unmistakably, something sliding between my ribs. My vision fractured into shards of color. Inside my head, the presence whispered something that wasn't language, but carried meaning. We learn. The thread of light pushed deeper. My heartbeat echoed thunderously, and then, silence. I woke up standing in my bedroom. The digital clock read 2:17. The refrigerator hummed downstairs. Mabel snored softly. My knees buckled, and I collapsed onto the carpet, gasping. The window was intact, the curtains still drawn. She stirred groggily, blinking up at me. It was a dream. It had to be. I staggered to the bathroom and flicked on the light. My reflection stared back, pale and drenched in sweat. "Just a nightmare," I whispered. Then I saw it. 3 faint circular marks on my chest, arranged in a perfect triangle. They glowed softly beneath the skin. I touched them. They pulsed. A knock sounded downstairs. Slow. Deliberate. 3 knocks. I froze. Another knock. No one should be here at 2:17 a.m. I crept to the top of the stairs. The house was dark, except for the dim porch light seeping through the front window. Knock. 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 Exactly 3. Mabel growled low in her throat. I forced myself down the stairs, each step groaning under my weight. The knocking stopped when I reached the door. Silence. I leaned toward the peephole. No one. Just empty porch. Empty street. Moonlight. My breath fogged the glass. Then something moved at the edge of the frame. Not on the porch. Above it. I tilted my head upward slowly. A face clung to the ceiling above my front door. Translucent skin, circular glowing eyes, no mouth. It stared directly into the peephole. Into me. I stumbled back, with a strangled cry. The knocking resumed, but now it came from inside the house. From the walls, from the ceiling. 3 knocks, everywhere at once. The lights flickered violently. Mabel barked hysterically. I backed into the living room as the air thickened again, pressing against my lungs. The hum of appliances cut off mid-buzz. Time froze. The second hand on the wall clock halted. From the hallway, they emerged. Not breaking through doors. Not walking from rooms. They simply phased into visibility, as if the air had decided to reveal what was always there. 5 of them. 6. 10. Filling my house. Their eyes fixed on me. The presence returned, stronger now. Incomplete, it conveyed. The marks on my chest burned. Return required. No, I croaked. The floor softened beneath my feet. Silver mist coiled around my ankles again. I grabbed the couch, the coffee table, anything, but my hands slipped through solid objects as if they were holograms. The ceiling dissolved above me. The sky peeled open. The silver mass descended, larger now, blotting out stars. And I understood something then that chilled me deeper than the cold mist around my legs. The first time hadn't been an abduction. It had been preparation. This was collection. The being closest to me tilted its head. Once more. Inside my skull, the presence sharpened, focused. You adapt. A new image flashed in my mind. Not stars, not planets. Earth, covered in silver lights descending from the sky. House by house, town by town. Everyone frozen at 2:17, waiting. The mist yanked me upward violently. As my house shrank below, I saw other lights piercing the night across town. Other roofs peeling open, other people rising, silent and helpless. The circle in the craft opened wider this time, hungry. The last thing I heard before the darkness swallowed me again was Mabel's bark cutting off mid-sound. Then nothing. If you're reading this, you might think it's fiction. I would. Except I'm writing it from inside. There are others here now. Hundreds suspended in this endless dark, each encased in faint silver cocoons. I can see them when the eyes dim. We float in rows, studied, changed. I feel something growing beneath my skin where the triangle burned. Sometimes I can sense Earth below us. Time still paused at 2:17, waiting, and every so often the presence brushes my mind again. Not cruel, not angry, curious, patient. We are not being destroyed. We are being rewritten. And soon they're sending us back.